Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast series on GCC with the theme From Ledgers to Global Leadership. And we have with us the chairman of ANB and AIRCON, and also a past council member, ICI, CA Anil Bhandari ji with us. Welcome, sir, to
Thank
this
you.
podcast series. And we have very high expectations since we started this GCC summit as a new initiative by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. What is your intake on that?
So, Sanjeev, first is congratulations and thank you for inviting me here. But I think this entire concept of GCC and that too bringing it within the fold of chartered accountancy is, I think, a fantastic idea. Uh, uh, till date, I think GCC has been looked at more from a technology perspective. But I think putting up finance operations, deep finance operations, larger entities is an amazing opportunity for chartered accountants. And I think I must congratulate the entire institute and you specifically for having thought about this. And this is also a great opportunity for chartered accountants to innovate on the other side and our country to innovate that how do we handle and mature the GCC functions in a way. So thank you.
Great. Yes, so this was definitely the effort taken by the institute, and I think this is not going to stop here, sir. We are going to go across the country. The next summit we are going to have in Ahmedabad, then in Mumbai, Hyderabad. So we are trying to engage the ministries and the chartered accountants to make sure that yes, we are not only into ledgers, we are into global leadership.
Fantastic.
So talking about leadership, what leadership qualities should a CA develop to lead a GCC, according to you?
Look, I think the GCC essentially means developing capabilities which are deep in any function. So it's not generally the outsourcing thing that we used to see in the past. You know, we as chartered accountants 10 years back, KPOs and BPOs had a good play, and we felt that and of course chartered accountants got good opportunities working for KPOs and BPOs, but that function is a very standard function. Global capability centers are actually deeper functions. So I think the ability of a chartered accountant should be a mix of techno-functional here, because his understanding should be deep functionality, and his also understanding is how does he support the entire operations for a company across the world. So I think the leadership quality here is a mix of for a chartered accountant, which will actually, I'm sure, make him delve more into technology areas, because you know all of these GCCs use tech as the backbone for servicing. So I think this combination from a skill is very essential. And the other thing is that chartered accountants should, I think, open up their minds, because GCC caters to the world. GCC does not cater to a single function. So when they go in, I think the leadership quality would be to try and open up the mind to figure out how do I solve this problem for the world, rather than thinking how do I solve the problem for India. So I think these two.
I think that's a very important and relevant point to say. But still, there is a question, sir. That when we talk about that GCC will be more aspiring at tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Uh, let's understand the demography that we see.
I think you're right.
And the mindset over there is, more towards how can I protect my existing work and getting so much involved and busy with what they are doing currently. So getting to this mindset, developing those skills and actually getting to the level is too much of an ask for them. So how is this?
Actually, Sanjeev, it's not actually too much of a, it's how you break it down. See, our chartered accountants in the smallest possible locations have been doing accounting services and granular transaction services.
Yes.
If you look at it.
Yes.
What are we doing? 80% of the time, I think in smaller locations, we are doing the daily TDS, GST transaction. Now that transaction orientation is already there. The eye for detail is already there. How do you convert this into a delivery model where maybe our chartered accountants in smaller locations would be able to support a larger GCC as a consulting company offering a specific function to maybe say a larger GCC like a Walmart. So if Walmart is setting up a huge GCC here which has got like 40, 50 different functions, it's possible, and I'm sure it will happen, that they would want to go deeper into locations because the cost of living is slightly lower, salaries could be slightly lesser, outcomes are better, people are happy where they're staying. So I think contrary to the belief that people think that they should be focusing on what they're doing. I'm saying it's a very small twist. If you just change your tact a little bit, I think they will start becoming a very interesting areas for us. All these small locations actually will thrive.
In fact, I never thought on that perspective, but yes, that match with both skilling up and scaling up.
Yeah.
I think these are two important things which needs to work upon. But if there's anything more to add to this, like the skilling up, what are those essential skills? You talked about leadership qualities, but that skills, that technical skills, what are those which they are not currently doing, which they need to
So
start?
that's a very good question. I mean, in these smaller locations, uh, I think our chartered accountants were not fairly conversant with. I think this is in the past and changing very fast, but they were not very conversant with tools and technologies like ERP solutions, reconciliation solutions, governance solutions. Their ability to use technology was not so. I mean, I would say they weren't aware about how to use it well. So I'm saying actually it's a simple thing to do. No, it's not a very difficult thing. We're not saying develop technology. We are saying
Right.
get conversant with how you want to use a technology to be able to benefit larger transaction, to be able to benefit larger sets of countries across the world for a GCC center, or you open up your own GCC center. So I don't think they really require too much of upskilling. I think the institute has done a fantastic job around the AI, etc., creating awareness. So I think a little bit of change where we actually make them more aware about technology and tools, and more than technology and tools, also the business processes. I think that is sometimes missing because people are too focused on TDSs of the world and GSCs of the world. Understanding businesses, how businesses run, like for example, how does a global pharma company run? How does a global manufacturing company run? How does a global SCM process work? So something like that. And they're not too difficult to
Yes. And
get them on
I think
board.
this is the right way going forward. But let's understand and take it to a next level, like India, which we are looking forward to be the largest economy of the world in next 25, 27 years, whatever time it takes. Institute, again, we are looking at becoming the accountant for the entire world.
Sure.
That's what the thought process, that's how we are working together on that level. What is that suggestion or piece of advice you want to give to the institute or to the country at large to work?
So I have a
in
little
support?
different view, Sanjeev, sometimes in terms of institute's aspiration to become the global accounting center of the world. I would really encourage and emphasize to our leadership that we should strive to become the global innovators for accounting and auditing in this country.
Yes.
Why? Because I don't know, but it all started here in India, right? If you look at the history of accounting, auditing, and also look at the thought process of our seniors, where even the institute in India is, for example, under the Act of a Parliament, and nowhere in the world it's under the Act of any Parliament for that matter, right? So I think we all started with good intents. Our ability to think through was good. Our understanding of accounting systems were good. We have been there for centuries now. So I think we should not strive to be this golden back office for people any longer. There was times that we did that and we prospered, but I think it is time for us to look ourselves as more as innovators and trying to cut through across and see if we can change the accounting system in the world.
Yeah.
And it is led from our country, India, because like you said, it's likely to be the largest economy, hopefully very soon, and we have the largest accounting skill sets in this country. So then why not shape up the
Yes.
profession, and why don't we aspire to do that? So I think
So I think
that's my take on
I
that.
think the pride of signing an audit report. Are we going to get the similar pride on signing $1 billion decision?
Yeah, $1 billion decision, and I'm saying let's innovate the accounting. Let's transform the way that accounting systems, not systems, the fundamentals of the accounting. So I was just talking to somebody outside, and I think in the conference also somebody raised the point that and I was speaking about there has been no innovation for the last 20 years, and somebody came up and said, oh, we have a lot of innovation because we have ERP systems coming, etc. Fair enough, which is true. But those are operational innovations. What I'm trying to say is that why innovation, what I mean is, we had the cash system, then we had the double entry system. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we now have a triple entry system
entry
coming
system,
up,
yep,
right?
yep.
Now that's innovation. What do we do with that? Where does that other leg of transaction sit? Can it sit in governance? Can it sit in visualization? Where does it sit? And how do we triangulate this in a way that the transaction can never go wrong? right?
Correct.
And we think that it's going to take away our jobs. I think it's going to create amazing new opportunities for us. So,
One last question, sir, before we end up. India considered as the, let's talk, something really great, the youngest country of the world. We have 64% of the populations who are less than 40 years of age. Institute, again, going back to that, we have so many young chartered accountants coming up. What is that one piece of advice you want to give to these young generations, that, they have to go a long way. They are going to see a great India, a great future.
very,
What
very
is,
simple, very simple. I think we have been a fantastic BPO, KPO of the world. We've been a fantastic services industry in technology. We have almost $100 billion or maybe more than that from a technology services perspective. But I think India, for us, it's time to be on the innovation side, which means we need to create awareness amongst people that we are equals when it comes to thinking through innovation. And the simple example of that, Sanjeev, is that almost maybe more than 50% of the CEOs and the products in technology, etc., getting innovated in the United States of America
yep.
are led by Indians, right? So the mind is already there, that's settled. The process is important. There is also a process for innovation. So the only suggestion and advice and emphasis that I would lay is for our young chartered accountants is to be able to break down the problem in the smallest possible piece and articulate a solution in the smallest possible piece. But our ability should be to understand that is this problem across the world, and will this solution be so generic with maybe a little bit of twist is able to solve it across the world. That's innovation. Solving small problems with small solutions but spreading it very, very quickly across the world. And I think that is an opportunity that, something
Wonderful.
that we
So
have.
basically transforming from a compliance to a strategy, to a
Absolutely.
strategist, and I think becoming an architect for the business.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
that requires a lot of innovation, excellence, and a lot of technology. Great, sir. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us
you.
In this GCC
Thank
summit.
you. Thank
sir.
you. And once again, I
Pleasure
think
to-
this is a fantastic
Thank you
program
once
that you have
again,
laid
sir.
out.
We
Thank
look
you,
forward
Sanjeev.
for connecting with you and taking a lot of your ideas
Thank
and
you.
questions.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.